Hi, this is the last time I do this. Not yet. It'll probably be bittersweet in 20, in about 2 years and yeah, something like that. About 2.5 years, it'll be a bit bittersweet. It will. It really will. Who knows? Anyway, welcome. Thank you everybody for coming. I appreciate it. And so I'm just going to kind of run through the spiel that I run through, and then we're going to show you some slides about why it is the program is the way it is. And then I answer all the questions about the setup of the program, the cost of the program, the way it all runs, and all the goodies we do with you, for you, with you, to you, the whole business. Okay, so, but then if there's something I haven't answered by the time we're all done, then please, please pipe in and I'm happy to answer any questions. So anyway, hi, come on in, have a sit. No, it's okay, have a sit anywhere. So my name is Leigh Ankrum, in case you don't know this, and January marks my 38th year in this field, doing this field. Of course, I wasn't anything like this 38 years ago. I went and did massage school 38 years ago and flipped into like one of my life's deep depressions, getting touched that much and stuff was like, wow, kind of went there. But something happened for me, and I don't know, it wasn't a conscious decision or anything, is that I began to track into pain and dysfunction and started studying pretty quickly after I graduated from massage school. So I began to deepen my studies, and I uh, the studies were bigger, deeper, fuller as the years went on. And so that was 1987 is when I started. And 1990, I started studying cranial sacral. And then I began to teach with the man who taught the cranial sacral, who came to Chicago. About a year later, I began to travel with him all over the country and a few places in the world to teach with him, and then to teach on my own for him a little bit here and there in Italy and in other places. And then I went, and so that was 1990 when I started doing that. So I think I might get good at cranial sacral pretty soon, is that, and then in the mid 90s, I actually began to study trauma and birth trauma and so forth. And then I started studying fascia work. I actually went and closed my practice in the mid 90s. I went and lived in Boulder. Can't think of a worse place to be, huh? It is, kind of where at that point in time, my education and my mapping was that muscles are the problem, they create referred pain. And then I started studying fascia work, and I still didn't quite get the depth yet about fascia work until later so after I did that, then I went and I did a year of study where every 3 weeks I flew to England for a week. So I flew to England for a week and studied biodynamic cranial, which is to study the fluid dynamic of the cranial sacral system. Because up until then, it was very mechanical. It was the bones. It was we'll kind of go into the cranial sacral in a moment, but it was very like cut and dried. This is what you do in cranial. And then I went to England, and it kind of blew me out of the water that was the first time I'd heard that the body will show you the treatment plan, was when in 1997 or 98, whatever, I don't know what year it was. But anyway, one of those years is that it was the first time. And I sat at the head of the person and thought to myself, I will never be able to feel what that treatment plan is. Like I don't know. So anyway, that was the beginning of introducing that idea to me. And so it was a year. So every 3 weeks, I was on a plane to London. Food wasn't that great there, I have to tell you. Anyway, so I, so after a year, sort of finished that, and then I moved down here. There was a whole thing. I moved down here. I had my best friend lived here, and she brought in a whole trauma training into Tulsa, which blew my mind. Blew my mind to start to recognize what trauma looks like in people. And then I went to osteopathic school. I was actually on the way to becoming a doctor here at DO. And as I was doing all the prerequisites, somebody introduced me to a French school in Canada. And so This is very typical me. So I'd rather get on the phone with you than I would write you an email. But at that point in time, it wasn't that emaily here. Do you know what I mean? We weren't that emaily like we are now. So anyway, I called up to the school and I got the administrator on the phone, and she and I were on the phone for an hour. Oh, the whole thing. Anyway, I faxed her my resume, and she said, "Oh my," she called me right back. She said, "You're in." I said, "Oh, okay." And it was 2 weeks later. I got out of chemistry one and physics one, and I went and I went and I started flying up to Vancouver, but I was living here then, and so flying up to Vancouver, and that was a 5-year program. Every 6 weeks I flew from here to Vancouver, and it was grueling. It was so challenging and unbelievably life changing. And it changed from the dynamic of, you know, I am here, and I believe that I am here on the planet this time around to be the steward of this work. That is my belief, is that that's what I'm here for. I'm here to do it and to help others do it, and that's what my life purpose is, and I'm in it. So me going to this osteopathic school, which that taught me how to begin to really look and see what is the treatment plan, what is the way that the body shows what is going on, and that you have to be like really look from a whole standpoint versus this like where's the pain, because where the pain is rarely where the origin is. The pain is where the pain is, and that's, to me, that's just says, oh, so let me be curious, let me be a detective based upon your history, your pain patterns. So anyway, I did that for 5 years, and I graduated from that school up there. Not recognized here. I'm not recognized here other than a really, really good body worker person, which is totally fine because it hasn't inhibited me from not having clients or not whatever. I mean, so it was amazing. But I have to say, so that I graduated in 2008 from that school, and every moment since, I am learning, I am deepening, and I am growing. And it's amazing to me because I had a teacher in one of the years, and she said, I think it was the second year, and she said, what I got when I look after 5 years afterwards, it was like, whoa. And then, however many years afterwards, and here I am, whatever this is. I don't know how many years this is. How many years is this? That would require math, and we don't do math here. We're sorry, we just don't do math. So anyway, but a lot of years ago, and so the interesting thing is that I like I'm blown away by how much I've come to learn and understand about the body. But isn't it true? Jillian graduated a few years ago, and Jillian has a full private practice. I didn't introduce her. I apologize. This is Jillian Shalacy, and Jillian's was in group 4. Yes. Yes, it really is. And how great is it for me to get to work with people like Jillian? Jillian has been yeah, the school would still be here, but the school would not have sort of the pizzazz and the life and the something, if Jillian hadn't been with us. So anyway, so I mean, basically that's kind of my history. I was still doing symposiums. I studied how to do concussions in Germany and studied how to do pregnant women. I've done tremendous numbers of things with pediatrics and pregnancy and this and that and every other thing. And then I stopped. In 2012, I actually stopped doing any outside classes. Hi, oh, hi. Any outside classes. And what happened to me when I stopped inputting was that the input came from a different source. That's what happened. So go ahead and help you. Oh, hi. I'm good, is that it stopped coming from a different source, from an outside source like this, with me continuing to input. And then what happened is that this sort of multi kind of dynamic came from within, started coming from within. And for several years there, I was sitting in my room treating people, and I could totally feel like the ancestors in the osteopathic lineage were sitting behind me. Like, I don't have that as palpable anymore as I did, but boy, I felt there was, after I stopped doing the outside stuff, then this inside kind of thing happened, and it was amazing. It's been amazing. So, I'm kind of blown away at what I just know. I'm sure that some of you who are longtime practitioners also have that wow, you just, there's a knowing that comes. So anyway, so that's sort of my background, and here I am today. The school opened. It took about a year and a half because the getting licensed in Oklahoma is challenging. And so it took a while for me to find the right person who could navigate doing that. And so I started the very first class in 2016, but the first time I ever taught was down here in Tulsa in 1989. So it's not like I haven't been teaching. I've been teaching for a long time. I've been teaching for years and years and years, but it just became official when the state caught me and said, you got to get a license. And here's the wacky part about that. The wacky part about it is this, is that, so here I was teaching weekends every other week, every other month, a weekend for cranial sacral and other things. And I was going along minding my own business, working all week, doing the whole thing. And then when they sent me that letter that said I had to cease and desist teaching, I freaked out, of course. And then I found this person to help me go ahead and get licensed. But in order to be licensed, you have to actually send something that says what you are doing every minute of every day. Have you tried to get licensed? Have you done that? A school license? For a school license, I am telling you, you have to tell them when the breaks are, how long the breaks are, what the deal is. I mean, it is wow. And so in doing that, it I don't know what happened. This is what happened, is that doing that, I had no intention of this. This was not in my radar at all. And so I sort of made I made something up and it became the school. So it's the weirdest thing. I swear to God. Life is so funny how he does that. Okay. Anyway, so once I became licensed and we got it in spring, I think, of 2016. And then I started a class in the fall of 2016. And so group 10 will be the last one. So this will be 10 groups that I will have taken through. And then who knows what I'm going to do. Everybody, my private practice people are freaking out, like I'm retiring or something. I said, yeah, I've been joking with them and stuff. I have no idea when I'll retire. This retires in spring of 2027. This does, in this form, looking like this. Who knows what it's going to look like in the future? I don't have anything like in my head about it or not. I just am going to wait for the message that says this is what you're going to be doing. That's what I'm doing. Are we going to have to hello? No, I haven't had a zits yet. You might have to so anyway, what we're going to do is talk about why the school looks the way it does, or why the program is the way the program is. Jillian, you'll probably only have to do one of them, and then it'll probably take over, which is what it's done before. And this is why I have to retire, is because the remote control is having an issue. Oh, thanks. Okay, so let me see if I can make it. Nope, I can't. All right. So anyway, so the deal with it is that, as I said before, if the treatment plan is in the body, and if the muscles are just if the I have to do this. If the treatment plan is in the body and we have multiple systems in our body, which system has the core issue, because my training is about finding where the core issues are and helping to resolve those, as well as helping to resolve whatever else has kind of come out of it, right? So you can have a core issue, and then you can have a peripheral issue that came from the core issue. So you have to be able to treat both, and I have to know which is which, because if I keep treating the symptom, then you keep coming back with the same thing. That's because I haven't treated the symptom. That's because I have treated the symptom. You get what I'm trying to tell you, is that I keep treating the symptom. That doesn't mean that it doesn't morph and I have to get deeper and do those kinds of things, but that is the principle. My school is based on principles. It is, you learn techniques about every single thing, like how to move a uterus, how to help with TMJ. You learn everything, techniques for everything, but the techniques are my toolbox, and the principles are what I base how I reach in my toolbox. You know, I'm going to change a toilet. I'm not pulling out a hammer, but I have to have that in my toolbox. Do you understand? It's like what is in the toolbox? So we have a musculoskeletal system. To me, this is the map of the symptoms. So everybody's like, yep, I got pain in my shoulder. To me, that is what it did. So I go bing in my head, and I start thinking about what is it that creates shoulder pain. Because unless you're a tennis player, and I'm not seeing a single pro tennis player in this room, okay? Unless you're like, do something where, you know, I'm on the bowling circuit and therefore this arm is going to be so much longer than the other one from carrying the bowling ball. You get it. It's like it's coming from somewhere else to give me pain in the muscles. And you have to know the map. What's the map that puts the pain in that particular muscle? Because there are maps. Come on, do it. Do it. No. Hey, okay. So oh, I'm so bummed, Jillian, that this doesn't work. It's okay. So hang for a second. So there are 636 or something like that muscles in the body. Oh, thanks, Rod. Rod's going to do it. Okay, you do it, Rod. So there are like 636 or 58, I don't know. It's over 600 muscles in the body, and they all can carry some kind of pain pattern. And there are certain places in the body that get more pain than others. Hey, go back a slide, will you? Okay. So one of the things, or very often, commonly, you have people who have neck pain. Where are the most common places where people have pain is neck pain and low back pain. True? Neck pain and low back pain. Well, if we look at the skeleton, or we can look at the skeleton here, is at the bony skeleton, is that you can see that there are so many maps to a body. There are so many maps, not just systems, but maps to ways that you look at the body. And one of them is that the body is in 5 spheres. So this is a sphere, the neck is a sphere, the thorax is a sphere, the low back, the lumbars are a sphere, and the pelvis is a sphere. If I look at it that way, I can look at it many ways. This is just one of the many ways. What are the 2 most vulnerable parts of my body? My neck and my low back. You can see it just by looking at the skeleton. If I get rid of the muscles and take the muscles off, the skeleton tells me this story. And what are the 2 most adaptive places in my body? Are my lumbars and my cervicals. These are the most adaptive parts because they are the most non-stable. And out of these 2 parts that adapt to something going on in a foot, that adapt to something going on in a cranium, that adapt to something going on in here, is the most adaptable part is your neck. And people have neck pain all the time. And so one of the things is, if I only look at your neck, I have truncated my ability to help you through something, and I made you you have to always come see me. Now I'm responsible. You get what I mean by responsible, is that what I'm trying to do is like help you so you can go on your way, not so that you are reliant on me in order to make you better. Okay? Did it work? Okay, hit it. Give me a next one. Okay. So another system of the body is the fascial system. As I said, I started to work the fascial system back in the mid 90s. I started to learn about it. And I thought muscles were everything. Mm. I was definitely taught, which everything I got taught like this is the end all be all. So when I was learning neuromuscular massage therapy, the muscles were everything. And then when I was learning raw thing, fascia work's everything. So I don't think anything's everything at all. But it did come to give me a new respect for fascia. And in osteopathic school, I really got to understand fascia because although there's 630, however, 8 muscles in the body, and they're all over the place, a muscle is a muscle is dumb. A muscle only knows I'm on or I'm off. A muscle is all about movement. It isn't about anything else but movement. Not really. It's basically a movement system. Fascia is everywhere in this body. Fascia is all over the body. It's surrounding everything. We have 3 layers of fascia. Superficial, and the superficial layer, if I could peel off my skin, you could still see me. I did a cadaver dissection in Boulder. Hello, I love that Boulder. So I did a cadaver dissection in Boulder, and we did that. They had us peeling the skin. There were like 7 of us around this cadaver. We had to take all of the skin off of this cadaver so we could still have all the superficial fascia on the body. It was quite amazing. So it's all over. Fascia is around everything. It just has different names. So around your muscle is my myofascia. Around my heart is my pericardium. Around my bone is my periosteum. Around my lung is my pleura. So everything, it's around everything except for unmyelinated nerves. So it's around just about everything. So that you have this system that is, since it's everywhere, so I don't know what my next one is. So since it's everywhere, it does many things. So yeah, that's what I want. Yeah, this one is, so what it does is it helps to maintain a structural integrity. It's part of a support system, this fascia support. It is a layer of protection. Absorb shock. So shock going through your body, it's being taken through the fascia in order to try to protect you. It has a hemodynamic process, meaning that it's also helping to move blood. Alrighty, it has a defense system, and I'm talking that it actually has biochemical defense. It has communication and exchange. You have hormones going through it. You have you have current going through it. This is an informational piece of tissue that actually talks to your entire body, which totally changed it out of, oh, it's some tissue to me, to, oh, it's a continuum. And it's a continuum with a multi-layer sort of roles in the body. It has a lot in the body. And so once I started to really deepen this way, I began to really go, okay. So the fascia that we showed you, and we'll go back one, Jillian, would you? Go back the other way? Yeah, is that it's semi-viscous. So it's semi-viscous, meaning that it has a fluid quality. Your fascia has a fluid quality. So, and it is in this fluid quality that allows it to do what it is, some of this exchange and information and communication stuff that it does. But here's what happens, you guys. Since it's around everything, since my fascia is around everything, every organ, every muscle, every bone, everything, since it's around it, one of the deals is that when it goes into dysfunction, it changes its molecular structure. So it goes from semi-viscous, this fluid quality here, where you can see it's sort of droplets, into being crystalline. When it becomes crystalline, it adheres to its neighbor. So it adheres to its neighbor. So I don't care whether my next door neighbor is my liver, my rib, my lung, I don't care who my next door neighbor is. I'm sticking to you. And as soon as I stick to you, I have dysfunction. I'm now sticking to you. You're going to slowly start to go into dysfunction too. And then so is this guy. And so is that guy. Do you understand that it begins to actually stick? And the more you have that happening, the more you get more and more dysfunction. And I'm going to tell you something. Our bodies are miraculous and tricky at the same time. This is a miracle standing in front of you because your body has this inner doctor who is always trying to keep you as healthy as possible at all times. And I have to tell you that in doing so, you have a lot of stuff going on in your body, and you are still out there driving, talking, doing your thing, and you have a lot going on. So the body is a miracle that it can do that, hold as much as it does. And here's the thing is your body is cumulative. All it takes is that straw that went right there. And then that's when the symptomology starts. But symptomology starts creeping because it may start with, well, yeah, I started feeling a little bit in my knee over there. And then it starts to parlay. So your body is cumulative in its stuff unless you've had one big something, an accident, a fall, something like that, that put you into a pain pattern. But most pain patterns, most of them are something cumulative that then you go over the edge and so you have that one more thing, whether it was gluten, whether it was stress, whether that was overworking, whether that was, I don't care, getting no sleep for a couple of nights, whatever it is that might be just that thing that was too much for your body that then went jump. Okay? So that's how most pain gets started. Symptoms start to get started. So when we turn into this crystalline, now the amazing thing about the body is that you can take it back into, you can get it out of crystalline to take it back into that semi-viscous state. How great is that? I think it's great. There's some things you can't change and some things you can. Go ahead, Jillian. Next. So this is just one image out of a book that I have that shows you the interrelationship. All the arrows are just showing you the interconnectedness of fascia. That's what it's doing. It's showing you the interconnectedness of the fascia. Go ahead. This was put together by the head of my school that I went to, the Canadian College of Osteopathy, and he said that there is a central chain of fascias. So he put this together, and it's actually true. I mean, it wasn't anything that it's true. And what this is representing is how you are connected from the very top of your head to the very bottom of your perineum. And the structures that it goes through that are part of this chain is you have this attaching at the very top of your head. The vertex is the top of your head. This is a really important place that's in the middle of the brain, which we get into deeply and importantly in the training. It goes from the top of your head, connects to this in the middle of the brain, connects to this, which is the deep fascia of your throat, connects to here, it goes right down into the chest cavity and connects to the pericardium around your heart. Right here, it goes down to the falx of the liver, which is there's a ligament between the two lobes of the liver. So notice here, I'm connected from the top of my head to the middle, to my throat, to my heart, to my liver. So these are all connected so far, okay? Then I go from there to where my small intestines attach, and my small intestines attach on some of these lumbar vertebrae in the back here. So I'm right here, the root of the mesentery. Then it goes to the fundus, which is the top part or the body part of the uterus, or the prostate, which is in the midst of the pelvic bowl. So it's all connected, and then it connects here on the central tendon of the perineum, which is here on the pelvic floor. So I'm attached from here to here directly. And it's interesting how, go ahead, Jillian. It's interesting how the same places on the chakra system actually connect to the same places that we have in our central chain of fascias that he put together. There's such an interrelationship between different systems of the body. It's amazing. It's just amazing. So all the different chakras, and we put that in there just to show you, same kind of deal, same deal. Okay. So I said there were 3 layers of fascia, but I only named 2. I named the superficial, under the skin, and I named the middle layer, which is around everything. And then we have the cranial sacral system. So we're going to find that third and deepest layer of fascia in here, okay? And the cranial sacral system, excuse me, consists of all the bones of the head, all the bones of the cranium, which this is a great picture to show you that there are all these different bones, showing it to you in the colors. And although they believe that your head is one fused thing, it's actually not true. It's sort of fused. You're semi-fused. You should have some life within these joints here, but we won't talk about that. We'll talk about that when we get to cranial. But anyway, in the cranial sacral system, so it consists of the bones of the head, the sacrum, cranial sacral, sacrum at the bottom. Wow, you are good. Fancy schmancy. Just once, man. I'm telling you, we're a team. And then the sacrum, so it's the head, the sacrum at the bottom of the spine, and then inside you have membranes. You have membranes around the brain that go around the spine and attach onto the sacrum. Okay, so that's your deepest layer of fascia. And what's it called? Meninges. You ever heard of meningitis? These meninges, there's 3 layers of membrane here. Well, actually, there's kind of 4 up at the head, but there's basically 3 layers of membrane here, and these, the outermost layer is connected to the bones of the head. There's an inner layer, and then there's the deepest layer, which follows the brain around. And in between those 2 layers, those 2 deeper layers, is circulating cerebrospinal fluid. Okay. So it's circulating cerebral spinal fluid within there. And it is those things, or are those things, that actually make up the cranial sacral system. The cranial sacral system is a very powerful, very difficult to learn system. It is very powerful, and it is a part of every one of my modules. And it's amazing, amazing, amazing work, but it takes quite a bit to actually learn it. Its potential is amazing, because the cranial sacral system, this whole whatever you see here, the cranial sacral system is part of the physical representation of the auto-regulating system of your body. Your autonomic nervous system is directly related to what is happening in my cranial sacral system. And your autonomic nervous system, or I call it auto-regulating system, is the system that regulates all your automatic processes. It's regulating breath rate, it's regulating muscle tension, it's regulating, heart rate, temperature. Yeah, it's regulating all sorts of things. It's not regulating your temperature. No, your temperature is coming out of your hypothalamus. So it's not your hypothalamus and your HPA axis kind of thing. So that's out of your hormone system. So, but it's regulating your sleep, your digestion. It's regulating many things. And we have in the 3rd module of class, we have a trauma talk that I do in the 3rd module that talks all about what happens when there's an interruption, or there's tensions or patterns within the auto-regulating system. And the cranial sacral system is one of them. And so it is part of every module. Go ahead. A system that most people don't think about as a system is the fluid system. And there are different kinds of fluids in the body. There's blood, lymph, and cerebrospinal fluid. We just mentioned the cerebrospinal fluid, which is between the 2 deeper layers of the meninges. We also have the lymphatic fluid, which is part of the immune system, which we'll show you a picture of that. And we have the blood. And one of the tenets of osteopathy, there's like these 5 tenets of osteopathy, and one of them is the artery rules supreme. And so I had to think about that for a while. Like, what does that really mean? It actually took me a lot of years to really think about it. And because I'm slow sometimes. And, of course, blood is bringing nutrients and oxygen to all the structures of the body. So that's something that makes it rule supreme. And then it's taking away waste, isn't it? It's also taking away waste. But what also happens is, and we totally teach this in the program is that the lymph and the cerebrospinal fluid all end up back in the bloodstream. Like, to me, that tells me something, and I'm not sure what, but about the blood. Doesn't that tell you something? That everybody else goes back into you, and there's something very powerful about the state, that kind of a thought process is that, that the blood is doing anyway, it's just bigger. But the other part is that what's really interesting is every experience you've ever had is imprinted in your fluids. That is, to me, that's like, wow. So this fluid system is huge. And I always say this, is that every form of body work, this is my Leigh Ankrum's opinion. So everything up here is my opinion, just saying. But I'm going to say this pretty strongly, is that every form of body work, in my opinion, on a physiological level, I'm not talking psychological, spiritual, emotional, I'm not on those levels. I'm on the physiological level, which of course then affects all the rest of them. But you are trying to free the fluids, because the fluids are life, man. That is where life is. Cerebrospinal fluid is called liquid light. Cerebrospinal fluid is the first fluid. It's that first fluid that actually is kind of happening in the body. And they say that the breath of God is in the cerebrospinal fluid, and that it has the highest, like, not electrical charge, but the highest energy radiance in the body is in your cerebrospinal fluid, circulating through my body, around my brain and my spinal cord, and then kind of leaks out a little bit into the rest of the body, which is very cool. But so anyway, these fluids this is where it's at. Everything you're doing on a physical level is to free these fluids so that I can have life-giving blood. I can have immune system punch, and that I can have cerebrospinal fluid circulating the breath of God through every tissue, one of my tissues. Yeah, absolutely. So this idea that I'm doing body work because I'm getting you out of pain, yes, but I'm doing body work to get you, to get you connected fully to yourself. That's what it's about, to me. Just to me. Okay. There's your blood system, just showing you venous and arterial going around that body. Okay, give me another one. Your lymphatics, those are everywhere. And here's the interesting thing is that although we always have this idea that the biggest amount of immune system is in my armpits and groin, but actually 80% of your lymph nodes are in your gut. So this doesn't show it that way, but your gut has the most it's got 80% of your immune system is going on around your small intestine. When we get to small intestine class, we really show that, because also there's an immune layer lining the walls of your small intestine. I mean, we are so miraculous. It's not even funny. I love learning about the body all the time. Okay. Cerebrospinal fluid, as we talked about, which circulates around the brain, that's the purple stuff, and going down and around and all that stuff around the body. Okay. All right, another system. Uh-oh, we got another one. This one is never thought of. Pressure system. This is huge, actually. This is huge. So the pressure system is encapsulated? No. Designed? No. Is delineated. That's the word I want. It's delineated by horizontal structures in your body. So we have a pelvic diaphragm, meaning we have lots of fascia creating a diaphragm that goes in a bowl shape in the pelvis. We have the respiratory diaphragm that everybody knows. Everybody knows the respiratory diaphragm. We have a thoracic diaphragm. That just means we have at this level right here, we also have fascia going front to back in a more horizontal way. So we're creating cavities of pressure that are kind of, I can't think of what the word is I want, but you get it. The tentorium is a piece of the fascia that we were talking about, but it's actually shaped like a horseshoe within the head, and it is also a diaphragm that we get into. We'll show you a little picture of it in a bit. So this pressure system is that there are pressures. I have one pressure in the thoracic cavity, a different pressure in the abdominal cavity. I have a different pressure from here to here and a different one from here to here. So I have all of these pressure systems, and they are in relationship to each other. And if I have missed something's going on, it changes the pressures, right? So how many things, I mean, can anybody just off the top of your head tell me some kind of symptom that people have that is created by pressure? What? High blood pressure. Okay. Headaches. How about dizziness? You know, the vertigo dizziness. How about tinnitus, ringing in your ears? Yes. And high blood pressure from a body work standpoint, from our standpoint, comes from because, and one of the, we're going to talk about it in just a minute, is kidneys, which are one of your big detox organs. 60% of your blood is going through your kidneys every minute. So if I have a lot of toxicity that I've been ingesting and my kidneys have a lot of tension in them, it's going to make it harder for the blood to go through my kidneys every minute. So from a bodywork standpoint, underline that is we look at the kidneys for high blood pressure. That's where we go. We go to the kidneys. Okay? So, give me a picture. Oh, we put them all together. That's right. We did that. This is so good. They used to be 3 different pictures. Okay. So basically there's your pelvic diaphragm, your respiratory, then the thoracic is here. This one is representing the tentorium. And these are pelvic, respiratory, thoracic, and then the tentorium is this one. So, but there's other diaphragms in the body. My plantar fascia on the bottom of my foot is a diaphragm. Why is it designed like that? Because when you take this class, you will learn that blood and lymph don't go back up. They need to go up the body, but they don't have a pump. And actually, the heart is not a pump on either, but we'll get into that too in the heart class. But the deal is that you need something to get that fluid moving up your body. It's not only the movement and the contraction of your muscles, but it is also the pumping action of your plantar fascia every time you take a step, if it's working. That plantar fascia is also a pump, a diaphragm that's helping the fluids move up the body. Okay, so it's also showing that in every joint is a diaphragm. Okay, but the main ones, there are these main ones, and we are interested in. We use them a lot in this training. And I always said, do we have the picture of the diaphragm? Is that coming up? Go ahead. Okay. Oh no, did we take them out? Okay, so here's the deal is that I always say that if there was one structure, only one that I get to work in the whole body, there's only one, then I'm working the respiratory diaphragm. And although it's a muscle, and I say muscles are sort of secondary, not the respiratory diaphragm, because the respiratory diaphragm is in relationship to so many other systems that you would be affecting, that's why that would be my one structure that I would work. Usually we have a picture of it and stuff, which no big deal. When you take the training, all of you, when I see everybody with Rod and James, when everybody takes the training, then you'll see the pictures of it. Okay, so, but it is in relationship to your autonomic nervous system, your organs, right? your blood, your aorta goes through it, your vena cava goes through it. I have my esophagus goes through it. My organs are sitting above it and below it. It is very powerful what is going on with your respiratory diaphragm, and to have it is also the central one that's really balancing some of the pressures out. So anyway, okay. Visceral system. So the visceral system for us is a big one. And the last third of the training is teaching how to work on the organs. Because here's the deal, you guys, is that 65 to 90%, I should write it down. I should have that tattooed somewhere on my body if I was into tattoos, but I'm not, so I didn't. So there you go. Is that 65 to 90% of all the pain in your soft tissue is coming from an organ. So how can I not teach you, or how can that not be in your training? How can it not be in a training when organs and are creating so many of the problems? So many. So, let's look. I love looking at this cadaver. This is such a great picture because it's got stuff going on that's like, okay. So, all right. These are the lungs and this is the heart. Here is the cutaway of your respiratory diaphragm. This would be the cutaway. Your heart, the pericardium that's around your heart, has a very solid ligament on the apex, that bottom part of the heart, to the respiratory diaphragm. So I want you to remember this for the example we're going to give. You remember this. You remember that there's a ligament that's been cut away right here in this cadaver dissection between the heart and the respiratory diaphragm. Underneath the respiratory diaphragm, this is the right-hand side right here. Right here is my liver. This is that falx that's on that central chain of fascias. There's the falx right there between. This is my left lobe. Where the heck is my right lobe? This guy was sick. Woman or man was sick. Because this lobe is so withered that this looks normal, okay? And this should be all the way over to here. So this left lobe of my liver should be all the way here, and I should have a full and big looking right lobe of the liver. That's my big lobe. It goes front to back. This left lobe does not go all the way to the back. This left lobe goes over the stomach. But here is this person's stomach. That stomach is 3 times the size that it should be. So there is something that happened. We don't know exactly what. We don't know exactly what. All we do know is that this is so enlarged and that there is a missing lobe of a liver here. And so this is my large intestine here, right there. This is all my small intestine, and the way it looks is that it looks like it would be, I say this, like rubbery, like there is a consistency of these intestines that's so incorrect. But this is the part that you wouldn't notice unless you were in this class. And then you're never going to not notice these things when you go out there. Like Brian sat in on a class and then he left, and after I saw him the next time, he's like, I couldn't not see those things. Isn't that true, Brian? I mean, seriously, look at this. Look at where this shoulder is, and look at where that shoulder is. See this shoulder being up here? Look how high that shoulder is. So, pardon me, the bull that comes from massage therapists and PTs and everything, looking at a body and going, and they're assessing a body, and they look and they go, oh, you've got a high shoulder and a low shoulder. Well, you got to stop looking at the structure, because the structure's not driving the highness of the shoulder. What's driving the highness of the shoulder is the size of this stomach right here is putting pressure on the respiratory diaphragm, which puts pressure up and makes the shoulder go high. Stop looking at it like the outside is the answer. It's the inside is the answer. So when you look at people and they have a high right shoulder, you say, there's something going on with their liver. When they have a high left shoulder, now you have to decide. So we have to ask ourselves, I think this person has 2 things. One is because I also see this here is that this is really, you get pressure going up when an organ's in dysfunction. It puts pressure up. What does it do going down? It pulls fascia. It makes fascial and soft tissue dysfunction going down. So look how pulled in this hip is. Do you see this? This hip is pulled in. Can you see that there's a narrowness right here? And you see that it's not quite as narrow on that side? Trust me when I say that it is organs that are driving more of the dysfunction in the body on a physiological level than anything else. It's going to move your bones. This is going to give this person an anteriorly rotated left ilium, left hip. It's going to give them an anteriorly rotated left ilium and give them a long leg on that side. But if I stop and I only discern it from a long leg and go, oh, look, there's a long leg. Now I have to correct the long leg. And they still have this. That long leg is coming back, man. That anterior rotation of the hip is going to come back because the dysfunction, the core is there right in front of everybody, right? It's right there. It took me a long time to kind of get it and how the maps all went and everything like that, but it was there. So anyway, so that is one of the big deals is that for us, visceral manipulation and understanding the viscera and how it drives your patterns in your body is massive. Most low back pain is tension in the kidneys. And there's a couple of doctors, there's actually two now. I remember the name of the one, Dr. Fung, who is a renal specialist, a kidney specialist up in Toronto, and he's written a couple books. And he says by the time you come out of puberty, you already have dehydrated kidneys. You're already in subclinical dehydration by the time you get out of childhood, because most of us are not drinking enough and getting enough minerals and such in our childhood that you're already dehydrating. What is the pain pattern for kidneys is low back pain all across the board. Low back pain. So much low back pain is created by the kidneys, because the kidneys sit here and live right here at the very back wall, right against your back wall right here, and it tightens up all these muscles. So there's a lot of therapists out there, and they even write it on Facebook, and it always makes me cringe. These muscles that go from here to the 12th rib to the crest of your ilium is your quadratus lumborum, and they're called QLs, and QL syndrome. Well, it's being driven by your kidneys. It's just getting driven by your kidneys. So there's this way in which, am I going to work superficially or am I going to start looking more deeply, right? Can you tell I'm a little impassioned about this stuff? Okay, go ahead, Julie. This may end in 2027. All my passion is gone at the end of April, because class will be done mid-April 2027. Is like, then it'll be gone. Okay, so another system we have in the body is an EMF system, electromagnetic, and it's huge from the heart. The heart is a huge electrical organ. You have a field of electromagnetic field that comes out of your heart that is so much bigger than you are. It's awesome. So, right now I'm in Renee's field. Hi. Yeah. Okay. So one of the big things, did you know that the nervous system acts as an antenna which responds to the magnetic fields produced by the hearts of other individuals? So we are connecting through this really incredible heart electromagnetic piece. But that's awesome. But here's the bad part, guys, is that we're getting so messed up by all the EMFs that are out there. The 5G and everything like that is just messing with us. And what is one of the big, it's not new, but one of the big symptomology patterns that has happened in the last 10 years is all these heart dysregulations and the atrial fibs and all the rest of that stuff is coming. I believe there's a huge amount of that that's coming because of this interruption in the field. this big interruption in the field. One of the other things that all of the EMFs that they're acting like don't make any difference to us, doesn't hurt us in any way, is also what it's doing is in the body. What it does is creates our bodies to produce calcium ions, free radical calcium ions, and it's these calcium ions that are breaking into cell walls and creating opening for people to have cancer. That's one of the many reasons, the toxicity, all the rest of the other reasons too, but you have to add this one into the pile of reasons of why cancer is so rampant for us, is that our electromagnetic fields are getting really messed up a lot, and that is what is happening. Okay. And then we have the morphogenic field, and the morphogenic field is the collective unconscious. And it means that, we are connected and we are actually all one system. We are all one system. You just think you're separate. We're not. And the really groovy part is that when you get to the place when you're working, if you do decide to do cranial sacral or some of this kind of work, if you do it long enough, you begin to feel that as you're working, how I am connected to the everything. And it's amazing because health loves that place. Health loves to grow. And it comes from this collective unconscious, this collective connectedness that we are one. And that's one of the big things that makes this program so different. We are a program that's actually based on health. We are not a program that's based on dysfunction. We're a program that says, I'm looking for the health in you. How is it expressing itself in you? And how can I connect to it and help it rise and help it grow, help it expand? So that is the place we are. Even though, yes, I'm listening to what's wrong. And yes, I'm taking down your history and doing all that kind of stuff. But at the same time, I'm looking for, when I put my hands on or I'm in there in the assessment of like, what is working for you and how can I grow that for you? Versus, oh my gosh, you have this, where I'm symptom based and I don't even know how to even talk about that anymore because my work is based on how do I rise your health. Even though those people who have been treated by me, which in this room, I only see 3, well, including Jillian, 4. I only see a few people who have actually, or 5 people that I've worked on, is that, that you're telling me what's wrong and I'm there, but I have a bigger consciousness when I'm sitting there and I'm connecting to that place of health in you. And that's what we also try to teach within this training, is that it's not all about just like the dark side. And I can't go there, I just can't go there. So anybody have any questions? Do we need a minute or 2 break to go to the bathroom, or could go on? Go ahead. Go ahead. Just take a couple minutes and then go ahead. There's 2 back there.
Have you seen those EMF protection
I have.
things you put on your phones and stuff?
I have. I have one on my phone. I have one on my person. I have them all over my house. I have this one protecting you while you're here. I've got one in my car. You bet I do. We think quite a lot about that. Yes, I do. You know what? The sad part about that is that company is no longer, that was a British company, and I love them, and they're no longer around. So, but if you Google EMF protection, there's like 10 places now. It used to be only 1, but there's lots of them. You, I know, I know. It is hard to know. I do. I still like Geo Wellness, and if you don't mind putting your phone in a sleeve, something that closes, I like Defender Shield. Defender Shield has one that's up for every size, but it's a black case that you're. Oh, you have a Defender Shield. I also have my computer at home on top of a Defender Shield thing that keeps that off. Yeah, you see, there's the Defender Shield. I like them. And then there's places. I have a thing at home, a big piece at home that's filled with crystals, and I got it in Switzerland, and had it shipped over from Switzerland. And so, yeah, I'm a big believer in it. I am. And we should all wear something. On my phone, oh, like we can't because Jillian is on Facebook Live. On my phone, I have an app on my phone that also, Rod's doing it. You have to point, don't you have to point it at the, you have to point it over there, but we're done. Oh, meaning we have to get a new one? Okay, let's do that. No, 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 because class is this week. So why don't we, um, we'll get another one. No, no, we're just like, yeah. Did I get that at Best Buy? Okay, I'll go. I'll go, and then bring it Tuesday morning. Okay, tomorrow. No, it's got to work because class is this week. Yeah. Okay. So, all right. Rod's doing things. We're just gonna let him do that, and then I'll start again. All right. So I love to do this. I love to give an example. Give one example of something that is very common that happens to people, and that when it happens, then how it affects all the systems. What do you say? We'll do one example. Okay. And I always, poor Jillian, she's heard this 8,000 times. I suck at drawing. Okay, so you have to know this. I suck at drawing. All right. So,
It's a car.
oh, get out.
You haven't heard that stuff.
Oh, sure I do. Wait, you haven't seen it yet.
Oh, maybe it's not a car.
Nope, it is. Oh, here. This will tell you, right? That lets you know. All right. So, wait a minute. There I am. Wait, I want my hair streaming. I want long hair. There's my hair streaming behind me. Here's my steering wheel. Here's my arms. Okay. All right. I'm driving along, singing a song. Dave. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. So I'm driving along, right? And somebody hits me from behind, right? So somebody comes in and gives me a big old from behind, right? So my head, so say he's going 30 and hits me, my head is going 5 to 8 times 30. So 5 or 8, between 5 and 8 times 30 is he's going 30 miles an hour. I should put 30 miles per hour. So let's go in the low estimate of what's 5 times 30, 150 miles per hour is what my head just went in my whiplash. This was taught to me by a chiropractor. I was at a symposium in Tennessee, and she called it a whiplash. That's the way she said it. Your whiplash. Anyway, so she said your head is going 5 to 8 times as fast as the impact of what the car is traveling. Okay, so I'm getting hit. She's only going 30. This person's only going he he's 16. He has dark hair. I saw him. No, I'm just kidding. Is that my head is now whipping forward and backwards at 150 miles an hour now. I, my neck hurts. Okay. So at the same time, when that hit happens, when I whip forward, right, and then I whip backwards, unbeknownst to me, your jaw opens. You're doing that, unbeknownst to you, which is why so many people have feeling TMJ and pressure and stuff like that there. So of course my neck is getting it. So of course my neck is getting that in a whiplash. And that's most of the time what everybody looks at is that. But I want you not to forget that if we look at me head on, there's my body. Okay. And I'm the driver. Wait a minute. I'm the driver. Okay, here's my head and my nose, my mouth, and here is the seatbelt. There's my seatbelt. My seatbelt just locked. Did it not? You're hoping it did. You're hoping your seatbelt locked, right? So the seatbelt locks, and who lives underneath the seatbelt? That lovely electromagnetic organ that we just looked at, my heart. So when that seatbelt locks, it locks up my heart. And remember what I said? Remember what I said about that? Here's my respiratory diaphragm. Here's my heart. Huh? Now, when that seatbelt locks, and you also have to understand this. This is why you need to know your anatomy. This stuff about, I'm so not on the same page, and so I have to learn to not be judgy, because I am, and I apologize, is that, a lot of the therapists go, oh, I just know to feel, and I know, and I don't need to know anatomy, so I know, and I'm not on that page. I'm on the page that you need to know your anatomy. You need to know what is happening, what's connected, where it's going. And, you cannot go into the ethers of all the spirituality of wonderful body work until you have the people who can do that and make it look like it's like amazing what they do is only because they have the foundation, or in my belief, they have this foundation that you need to have. I have it. That's why it looks easy for me. I know where everything is. I know how it's connected. So you have your heart is connected to your respiratory diaphragm. But more than that, or in addition to that, is it's connected by this pericardium, this bag that's around, fascial bag that's around my heart. But where else is that connected? It connects to my sternum. This fascial bag, this pericardial bag, connects to my sternum. And where else does it connect to? The front of my neck. So that when that seatbelt locks and my heart locks down, then what happens is my neck gets pulled. So you start to see people with, well, I've got it because I had a very bad whiplash. With a forward head posture, you're getting pulled forward in a forward head posture because, well, one of the reasons, there can be other reasons, but you're getting pulled forward because of what is going on with your heart. Now, it could be that you have something wrong with your heart doing it. It also could be that you've had a car accident, and what's happening is these little connections are connecting up and connecting on the vertebrae of your neck. So if I don't attend to that, if I only do the muscles of your neck, then you will still continue to get this, and you will still continue to have muscle pain because you are still being continued to be pulled forward by a tensional pattern that happened. And how many people in here have had a car accident? Everybody but you. How fabulous is that? Be careful out there. That's right. Right on, James. Yeah. I mean, sometimes I use car accident. Well, this would be the last time. And sometimes I use tailbone fall. Okay. So here's the deal. So my heart, okay? Now, who is behind my heart? Who lives behind my heart? My esophagus. And my esophagus lives behind my heart. I need more color. More color. It's behind my heart. Okay, my esophagus lives behind my heart, and it comes down and it goes through my respiratory diaphragm. How many people have like these hiatal hernias or this heartburn or stuff like that, right? I've now locked down my heart, definitely a little bit against my esophagus. You got that? And also, I have pulled my diaphragm up. Up. It went up in the whiplash. My neck went back, and as long as my neck went back, it lifted my heart, and it's pulling my diaphragm, and now I'm up like this. And I have a much harder time breathing now that I'm up like this. So as a practitioner, I have to think Yes, I hear you that your neck hurts because they're not going to tell you their heart hurts because that's not where they're experiencing the pain. They're experiencing the pain in their neck, right? And as soon as I come off of my structural integrity, where my bones of my spine are not in correct alignment, then what happens is the place that's supposed to hold my head up, which is not my neck. Your neck is not supposed to hold your head up. Uh-uh. Your neck is designed for movement so that I can look and turn and see and side bend and move my head. It is not designed to hold this 14-pound bowling ball. Who's designed to do that? You want to come here, Arthur? Come here. Just come over here. Is who's designed to do that? To hold my head up? No. Right here. This is the design of what should hold my head up, is right here. But as soon as I start to get forward head posture, then my muscles have to do it, and my muscles are going to hurt because they're now doing a job that they are not designed for. So that's your muscles. There's some organs, okay? There's some organs. The other thing that happens is, oh, I should have left him here, is in a whiplash, is that this bone at the back of your head has a tendency on a whiplash to go high. It goes higher up. In the whiplash, it goes high. And who's connected to that? All the way from here to my plantar fascia, I have fascia that's connected all the way down my back around my heel. So as soon as I pull this, I've now pulled everybody down the chain, everybody down my back all the way to my feet. That's because the occiput here rises. So now I have a cranial tension too. Okay? All right? Everybody knows this whole idea of parasympathetic and vagus nerve and sympathetic, right? We all know this. We've heard this before. The auto-regulating system, two parts, parasympathetic and the vagus nerve. Well, your vagus nerve tracks through your respiratory diaphragm around your esophagus. So am I not affected there? So now I've got organs, muscles, pressure. I mean, you know, do I have to go on? I mean, really, do I? When you get it, when this one example, and I haven't even gotten everything, I didn't even tell you about the lap part of the band tightening and getting you here at the bottom of the intestines and stuff like that. So, I mean, it's big. It's really big what happens with a single event, which we hope we all never experience again, with a single event of the size of what can happen within our bodies and how it cascades through all the systems. You guys get it, yeah? Okay, let's stop talking about the body. Let's start talking about what the program is, okay? I'll go quickly through what it is about. Anybody have any questions? Something you want to add, thoughts, anything? Okay. And yes, I am just like this in class. Just like this. If you don't like it now, you're not going to like it 14 times. You know, if you like it, it's going to be there 14 times. What can I say? This is it. The excitement, the passion, the dancing, the singing, it's all there. Okay, so the program is 2 years and 2 months long. Okay, it meets, so it's 2 years. I don't know how to do that. 2 years and 2 months long. You meet 4 days every, here's the big thing, other, everybody gets this wrong, month, okay? So it's 4 days, and it's always, the 4 days are always Thursday through and including Sunday. It's always Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Basically, it's somewhere between timing wise. We start at 8:30 and we finish anywhere between 4 and 5, somewhere in there. So it's Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 8:30 to between 4 and 5. So far, so good? Okay. So one of the things we do is we film every one of my lectures. So every lecture that's up here is filmed, and every demonstration that's done is filmed. And you have a private channel that it's uploaded to the week after. I don't know. What do you think, Jillian? Usually by Tuesday, Thursday, it's all uploaded. She has it done before. So and she'll be administrating your class. She's doing the last class, which is like woohoo, which is like yay. You want her. You want her in your class. How's that go? In A Few Good Men? We need you on that wall. You want me on that wall. Okay. So, okay. So, so they're all filmed. It's all filmed. And we get a film release from you. But if we have one woman who doesn't want to be in any of the pictures, so we make sure she's not. So if you have we do not film the trades that are happening between the students. We do not film that. It's just the demos and the lectures. So you can watch those lectures and you have them in perpetuity. I mean, they are there and they are there for you to watch 2 times, 802 times, whatever. Because we have some people who are like, I think there are people who could like say everything I've said, who watch it all the time. Okay. There are, so the school is a 500-hour school, but you're in class 435 hours. And so you are responsible between each of the modules. So in those 2 months between, you are responsible for at least, I'd say do more, 5 client review sheets, meaning you have to practice on 5 people between each class. And that there's little sheets, there's a whole place, you get introduced to your Google Drive where there's a storage that has all sorts of goodies for you. And one of them is the client review sheet, and it's a little small sheet. It has 5 little questions that your person says, you were great, you were medium, you were okay, whatever, and then you turn those in to us each time you come. Those, though, I have to say, we have somebody who's graduating next month, and she's done over 400, and I have to tell you, she is brilliant. She is brilliant. And it's going to take her about 2 minutes and 37 seconds to have a full practice because she's on her way already. So if that's your desire, is that the more people you practice on and different people, but also between each other, it's awesome. There is a woman who was a student who used to teach with me all the time, she's not doing that anymore, but she does hold a practice session once a month. And the practice session is something where it's held here, she's here, but you have to let her know whether you're coming or not, because she's not going to sit here by herself. Is that you have to say, yes, I'm coming, no, I'm not. She answers any questions. People of all levels come, so you could be practicing with somebody who's in a higher group than yours, which is awesome, and you get really good feedback from each other there. The other thing that happens is through the 2 years and 2 months is that there are student clinics on Saturday afternoon, and each of the students has to do 3 student clinics over the 2 years and 2 months. I am here mentoring. The only thing you have to do is show up with 3 sheets, and then and it's Saturday afternoon. It's a 1 o'clock, 2:15, 3:30, and then you're done, and then you're done. And I am going around between the tables and helping you see what's going on with the person and doing what you do. And the more of those that you do, the better you get. So there's people that have done 10 of them. There's people that have done only 3 of them. It just depends on what your schedule and what you can do, that you can do that. But the more you do, the better you get, because I'm there. That's the one place that I'm there outside of here helping you. Okay? What am I missing, Miss Jillian?
Just that we start with the principles and
Oh,
systems, and then we progressively work through the body too. So we
right.
start at the feet, legs, go through the body, through the structural portion of the body, and then on module 9,
Uh-huh. We go into organs.
module 9 we go into the embryology.
Oh,
And
gosh.
working with pregnant women and
Pediatrics.
too.
That's
So
right.
there's a whole module based on working with kids and pregnant women and learning about embryologically how we develop.
Which is huge.
It's big in terms of informing you when you're looking at the whole body and all of the different systems, how important that embryological development is to the work that we
It is. It is. And sort of holding it somewhere inside of yourself. You don't have to know it all. I don't know it all, and I've seen it like 15 times, you know. It's like, but it is a very integral part of getting some kind of getting a deeper piece of understanding, a deeper piece of holding. So, and then
And
there
then
was
move into organs.
and then we move into organs. So,
Okay.
like we said in the third module, there's a couple hours on Saturday morning that's a trauma talk that I talk all about how trauma works in the body, because it's imperative that you know that, because most people coming in are have trauma, and you have to understand. Also, I teach the treatment plan is in the body, like I said in the beginning. And how am I going to know the treatment plan if I'm not recognizing where the person's at, what's really happening? Because if somebody's coming in high trauma, then what happens is you will get nothing to change in that body. As long as the fight or flights are on, the body shut down to you making a change. And you have to recognize that. But what we also do is teach craniosacral in just about every one of the modules. So you get craniosacral through the whole thing. And that craniosacral is how we as Ankrum Institute and most body workers interface with trauma. That's how you interface with it, is to actually go to that regulating system, putting your hands on it and saying, what do you need? Well, what kind of help do you need? What do you need from me? Kind of thing. So, that is one thing. We start with the principles. That's the first thing I do on the very first day, is I set the principles of how this body works. There are principles. And if I don't understand the principles, how can I be an architect if I don't understand the principles of what kind of load and weight and bearing, 1 cubic foot of cement has? If I don't understand what the principles are, I can't go anywhere. I can't build and become something that's so much bigger. I could be superficial and learn superficially, but we really set the principles. Then we go about applying them for the next 2 years. And then you're like, all of a sudden, module 9, you're like, ah, and so there's no hurry to know them. There's just this that you get them, and then they start to make sense to you as you go along and understand. So, anyway, there is that. Now, the cost of the program is that there is before you start, there is a $1,400 deposit. That's before you start. Each of the modules at the module, including the first, is actually 700. So it's 700 per module all the way through. If you pay it off after you put the deposit down and you pay the balance off, you get 10% off of the balance after the $1,400. If you decide to pay the whole thing off, you get that. There's a loan group that you can find on our website under, I don't know what it's under, help, loans. Okay, it's under loans and scholarships. You see how often I go there, and it's called Meritize. Real? Okay. Do we? There is somebody that's been contacting us. Did you see that? The other guy? Well, shucks. We have to go into trash, because you sent me something not too long ago. I thought we had Meritize. Yeah, no, I'm glad you're telling us.
They have something going on. It worked for a group 9, but we'll see.
So you'll Tuesday contact them, see what's going on, what's happening. Okay. And yeah, so what else was I going to say? There is, once you become a student of ours, you can apply for a couple of scholarships that we also have under there. That does not say, yes, you're going to get it. No, you're not going to get it. But we've had 2 students get the scholarship, and that has gotten a scholarship and stuff.
And their scholarships from outside sources, not from
No, not from Ankrum Institute. It's not us. It's the American Massage Therapy Association, and then somebody else has one. But we have the link to signing up to try to get it from them. And if you become a student, no matter whether, I would do it anyway. I would just go ahead and sign up to try to get a scholarship, to try to win one of the scholarships anyway, because they're generous and they're good, and they give a lot of it. They give a lot of money away. What was the other thing I was just thinking? Well, as you can see, we have refrigerator and water and microwave and all that kind of stuff. And so we give you an hour and 15 for lunch. We give you a break in the morning and a break in the afternoon. And of course, if you got to go, you got to go by yourself. Just go, you know. Um,
Right. So one of the things too, in order to be a licensed
oh,
practitioner, as well, you have to pass the NLEX, which is the Massage and Bodywork Licensing Exam.
national.
Yeah, it's a national exam. I host a NLEX prep class 2, 3 times a year, so I'll have that before you were finished too. And it's really about learning how the class is structured. It's structured more for massage therapists than it is for the way we have our understanding. So just kind of flipping your mindset a little bit. But that's part that's available to you as well. And
So when you graduate from here, you'll have your 500-hour certificate. With that 500-hour certificate, it allows you to take the NBLEX. With the 500-hour certificate and the passing of the NBLEX, it allows you to go to the state and get yourself licensed as a massage therapist, because there is no licensure for body work. There just isn't. There isn't a licensure for something of this high level work, not what we do. But we're all licensed as massage therapists. I've been licensed as that for 37 years, so it's just the way it is. But you'll be licensed. And once you become a student with us, you are a student member of the AMTA, the American Massage Therapy Association, and those guys, as well as another association, ABMP, has NBLEX prep question apps that will send you questions every day. Isn't that how it works, Joanne?
you can go on the app and
Get
peruse
questions and get questions.
and you're also covered in terms of insurance wise while you're practicing
Right,
too. You don't
right,
have to worry about any kind of liability
right.
insurance while you're doing anything as a part of the school. So any of the practice sessions that you do here at school, as in the clinic, or when you're practicing to get your client review sheets, would all be part of your 65 hours in addition to the in-class stuff.
Right. So here's the other thing is that I hate to say this, but you know what? There's part of me that doesn't want to say it, but I'm just going to say it. These are the dates for group 10. So if you haven't taken the dates, they're here. They are also on the website. This deal is because this is the last group ever. That means you got to come to every one to get your 500 hours. This isn't like I get to drop in and I don't get to drop in. I hate to say it this way, but there's nothing to make up after this. There's no other class after you that you can do this with. But I will say is that they're here so that you know them, so that you know the dates and the like. Look at this. I'm scheduled until 2027, you guys, on many classes. But so I mean, part of me doesn't want to say that because I want you to sign up and all that kind of stuff, but part of me also is very real and very truthful. The truth is, you got to make it to every one of these classes in order to get your 500-hour thing. And this truly builds on itself. So as Jillian said, we start with leg, and well, first we do the principles and we teach you how to look at each other and do a whole bunch of things in beginning cranial. And then we start with the whole structure of the leg and the ankle and the knee and how all of that works. And that is like a whole paradigm shift into how you're seeing the body differently. From the module 2 on, it changes. And then, um, we go hip, ilium, hip, and sacrum. Then we move up to lumbars. You're also learning a little bit about lymphatics, a little bit about scar tissue. You're learning how to work some of those things. You're getting a bunch of that stuff. And we go through the body. In the 5 years of going every 6 weeks to Vancouver, I hate to be a jerk, but I never missed one. And I was taking 2 planes. And once I went up with somebody injured an arm and I couldn't even use my left arm, and I still went. So I just have to say that I get it, that that's a big commitment. I also get what it's like to do it. I also did England 12 times every 3 weeks, so I do get what it's like to make a commitment like this and what it's asking of you. But I also love that we give you 2 months in between in order for you to do your life and do your job and do the rest of that stuff. And then we'll just be here again. Anything else?
One of the things that I think is really neat support for our students as well is
All right.
just for your specific group. But there's also groups for Ankrum Institute current students, Ankrum Institute graduates as well. And so that's a really great place to ask questions or
Share something.
share something that you found or that kind of thing, so that you create some kind of community within your group. But there's also a place to, in that 2 months that you have between classes too, we're available. But that's a great place to say, I was doing what we call a number three on somebody, and I found this. What has anybody else done that?
Yeah, yeah.
Just
It's
a
really
great
great.
way
It's a great way to stay in touch
stay in touch and engage.
and engaged in everything like that. And we're happy to answer questions, but we love for you to throw it out to each other first or try that. You know what I mean? Is we're not shut down at all to you emailing us or you asking us questions, but we really, really love it when you're doing it between each other and you can help each other to grow. And not always, but a lot of times what'll happen is during the breaks when we're in classes, people come to me and ask me all sorts of questions. I mean, it's just happening all the time, and I love it on one hand, but on another hand, what we're tending to do is save our questions for Sunday morning, and we do a little time of you asking questions of what you're finding outside of here that also other people can grow from. But half the time it's always about, like, well, my cousin has this, and people are asking me those kind of questions. So it would be nice that everybody can learn, and so we don't always come to me during the breaks, and we save a little time for all sorts of questions and stuff like that. So, all right. Anybody, any questions? So the next step would be,
The next step is, if you haven't put together an application or put your application in for school, you go to our website and go into application and do it there. If you have already, then in order to secure your space, your slot with group 10, you must send in the deposit.
right, right. We have a lot of applications. We, I don't know how many to put.
Class is capped at 24.
The class caps at 24, and we have a lot of we probably have more applications than we have slots, but we don't have more. We don't have all. We don't have the deposits.
We have 6 people that have given our
The
deposits so
deposits
far.
for group 10, right? So there's plenty of room. Don't think there's not room, but if you're doing it, do it.
And that's officially due on December 26th, which is exactly 2 weeks before we start.
Yes,
But
but
the sooner the better. And then when you come to that first one on January 9th, you owe another $700. So get it done before Christmas.
right, right. Do it. Do it. All right. Anybody have any questions? Anything? No?
Do you need your application to be approved before you make the deposit?
No, you send it in. We're going to send you a letter
We do it
back.
like
Yeah,
online.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
The application helps us do is understand what your background is and where you're coming from, and not to say no.
Yeah.
I don't know there's anybody that
Oh, I did
okay,
before you.
before me.
Yeah.
Yeah. But just to understand what your background is, what you're bringing to what your background is bringing to the understanding of this too, so we can make sure that when Leigh's teaching, she has that in her mind too, and helps. Just so you know, I had not touched a body before I started doing this.
Yeah.
I had no background in, I was a yoga instructor and did some anatomy, but I was not somebody that had ever worked in that way before. So we have people that have been working with bodies forever and people that have not at all. We had a carpet or a curtain hanger person. We've had a plumber that has come and done
We
some
had
work.
lawn service guy. We
Lawn
had a woman
service
who
guy.
sold airplane parts.
So
We had,
it's structured for
it's
people who know more and know less too. So
right, because a lot of what happens is because of I'm teaching my training. It's my training. And so there is an unlearning that has to happen for lots of the massage therapists and some. We've had chiropractors, we've had PTs, OTs, we've had all sorts of stuff. And everybody in one way starts at the same place. And in another way, if you've touched people, that is a big part that is new for a lot of people. Like, how do I touch someone? Because most people don't do it or don't do it in this way. So everybody kind of starts in the same place around the way the information is coming, and the more you study, the better you are. That's just the bottom line of life. I think the more you practice, the more you study, the better you are. So And I would love for everybody to be great. And when you graduate and you pass everything and you've got your license, we put you up on the website. So even though the school will be gone, the website will be there for a while. So the website will be there because, oh my gosh, we are at my office sending at least 3 people a week to the website to look under who's listed. So people are hungry for somebody who can help them with their pain and dysfunction and their problems. They're hungry for it. I had somebody in the second training group. Oh my God, she was a hoot. But when I started the fourth training group, she said to me, oh my God, she texted me and said, oh my God, is there enough for everybody? I mean, how many people? All you're going to have to do, except for you, Rod, all you're going to have to do is put it out that you want people to practice on, and your door will be busting down. Seriously, if they're not, you're just not saying it loud enough or something. I don't know, because man, seriously, people will go. I'll be your guinea pig. Like she had like 25. She posted it up on her Facebook, and bam! Yeah, so you'll have a ton of people. And then once you get your licensing, we are all happy. Like Jillian is bursting at the seams now. And so I don't know, she refers to other people and stuff. Yes, right. Yeah, so it's out there, you guys, and it's happening. And people are looking for, because they're not getting help by other institutions. So they're looking for people like us. So,
So you offer support for building a business.
no, no, but we will. uh,
Part of our last module is
Biz,
the ethics piece of it. So you can dive a little deeper into, do I do an S corp? Do I do an LLC? How do I set that up?
yes,
That kind of piece of
yes,
it. Yes, that's part
yes.
of it. That is part of the training, but it's not. We don't set up
Your business or
Oh,
help
no,
you.
no, no.
No,
But you,
but we'll put you on the website, and then the other part is that many of the people, like there's one person in my mind right now, is she. I love this woman, and what she's doing is she is telling everybody that she's treating. She goes, while I'm in school and before I'm licensed, I'm going to do this for free, and then afterwards I'm going to start charging you. So she is so upfront with it, like very upfront with it, and she has people. She has so many people. I mean, she really has. She's in group 8, and they're starting their module 10. They're starting their module 10 this week, and she must have 200 or something like that. But she is being upfront with people and saying, definitely afterwards I'm going to start charging or whatever. So you can also begin how you present yourself is also like what will happen. Definitely. Yeah, I'm not making anybody's business. I've already done that. I'm good. Well, although I have to say, I just referred out, I don't know, like 5 people last week to the website. So it's like, my goodness. Good,
yeah,
good,
just
good. Yeah. Oh, support. Yes. Support. Yes. And trust me when oh, oh, yes. Oh, yes. And they will go to her office. There's a lot of them over there, and they're very supportive over there. Her office.
is there an application fee or just that deposit?
$25 application fee for that piece. But one of the things, originally we had it be free, and a lot of people were applying that just
Oh,
weren't
God.
actually interested in school.
Right.
Just having,
Well, first I had it. It was before Jillian was here. I had it. It was $100 to apply,
yeah, when I
and I really vetted everybody. I mean, it was $100 to apply. I talked with everybody. I did all that, and then we made it free, and then we made, so it's $25. Okay. All right. Any questions? Anything? Well, I hope to at least see some of you there. That would be great. January 9. I will be here. Try to get to class. I am an on-timey kind of person. I'm not even kind of. I am an on-time person. And so I will be here starting class at 8:30. So coming at 8:15, getting yourself settled, putting your stuff up, getting ready, chit-chatting to all your new friends now, and then we're going to do it. And we ask also that those people that sign up is you bring a sheet to put on the tables, and So sometimes you use yours, sometimes you use whoever you're sitting with, whatever, and that goes on. But I am on time. I am somebody who's on time.
I have one more question.
Please.
How do you assess the students?
How do I assess you? I think it has to do with a little gravy on the backside there. Could be, Um, oh, I forgot about that. Okay. So for the state, we have to do this because we didn't do it, and then we really have to do it. Is that so starting with module 2, there's a very quick multiple choice 10 quiz that gets taken at the beginning of each class. You're asking about before you get into school even. You're asking the assessment into school or the staying in school?
During the program.
Yeah. So this is this is one of the deals. One of the deals is that we give a little 10-question quiz, and what the fun part is your first one in module 2, we make up the quiz. Then what happens is you are responsible for sending us a quiz question from module 2 before module 3. And Jillian and we have another assistant, Tammy, you will meet in the first class. And Tammy and Jillian, they work on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and they'll take your quizzes and they'll take your questions and make them into a quiz. So you become the quiz makers, which is really awesome, because what we're trying to do in this is make critical thinkers. We're trying to help you to get to be a critical thinker. So we want you to make the question. So you send us a question or two or whatever, and we'll pick out of all the questions we get, and we will make a 10-question quiz. And occasionally I throw in a question that makes you have to think. Right. Keep going. Over a 70% average. And if we see something's going on, or I notice something's going on, then I might come over and have a little confab with you privately. That's what'll happen. You're certainly nobody's been, well, you don't get thrown out. You definitely get like, let's talk and what's happening, and we try to, definitely. Right. Not, yeah. So Renee, take a
I
breath.
used to teach a readout class.
Oh, did you? No wonder the question. Oh, it's not. We're so not about that. Right. Right. Oh, yeah. Lots of people. Right. Yeah, no.
So when you assess the students, you're probably doing a lot of verbal feedback in the classroom and then like tactile, hands-on watching.
So in the first module, one of the things that happens is after we do the principles, I don't know how the order of this goes because it's very organic. Like we have the stuff we're going to go over, but at the timing in the first module is the one that the timing of it all is like, oh, they're ready. They need to get up. Let's go do this. And so we all sit together, and whoever is willing, we get up and we assess you. We assess you looking at you, standing there. Do you notice this? Do you see this? So you can start to get your assessment skills like, oh, look at that. I never noticed that before, kind of thing. And then we have you walk and stuff. So we do that together. Okay. And then I give a lecture on the first piece of techniques we're going to do. So what I do is I give the lecture on whatever that part of the body that we're going to work is. And then you have received, we didn't say this, is that before class, you receive both the PowerPoint and all of the technique sheets. They're emailed to you, and you can print them up or do them how you do them. My suggestion is you print up at least the technique sheets and bring them so that you can make corrections on them and stuff. I then read a few of the techniques, and then we partner you up. We have all your names in an envelope and partner you up, and then I do a demo, and then you do the trade with your partner. We usually give you amount of time, and then myself, and I forget how many, we have 3 with Jillian, 4 assistants who, besides myself, will be circulating between the tables helping you. Right? So if we notice you're struggling, we're over there helping. You can ask questions, call one of us over. We're not going to hover, but we are going to be totally aware of what's going on. And so we'll come over and help you and then let you try by yourself. And then you give your person feedback, they give you feedback. That's a very important part of learning is that they're giving you feedback on what you're doing and stuff. So we do that. Then when you finish that, then we give a little break usually, and then if then I then I read the next set of treatments. I read them and then go and trade them again. So it looks like that. The days look like that. I do the anatomy, the talk, then I read the treatments, then we do but we try to do the treatments in manageable chunks, and we kind of do that, and then we move on. We move through that. And then it's when we're finished with the treatments of whatever, say we were doing the leg, we finish the leg, we then go into craniosacral. Then I do the craniosacral slides, and I do the talk, and then I read the treatments, kind of like I read the treatments, you do the treatments. I read the treatments, you do the treatments. You get my gist. It has a rhythm like that. And if you're needing help, then we're over there to help you. Oh, definitely. We've got assistants helping, doing all that kind of stuff for sure. For sure, for sure. It is designed for you to make it. It is designed for you to make it. Definitely. But it is a lot of information. There is a lot. I'm telling you. It's awesome. It is. It is. To me, it's so exciting. I mean, to me, and I'm always learning. I'm always learning. So that my new learning is always coming into the training. So no training is the same. No training is the same.
And you record your part of the training.
I do. I do. It is recorded not right now. It's not being recorded, but I'm recorded every lecture, everything. Even when we do a piece where we're like sharing what we found or whatever like that, that gets recorded as well. And all that is privately only uploaded to whoever's in the class. It doesn't go out publicly at all.
Whenever we're enrolled in the class,
Yes.
if we want to go see a video that you've made for a previous class,
Doesn't happen. Well, you're going to have yours.
I know, but what if we wanted to?
It looks.
We're on module 3, but we want to know something about module 7.
What? Oh, no. That doesn't happen. That definitely does not happen. There's no access to what you haven't had yet. No. That isn't happening though. You could ask us, and we'll tell you fun things about Module 7, whatever that is. I don't know what Module 7 is, but thorax or whatever. Yeah, I know you were, and so was I. But no, we're not. We don't go ahead. And trust me when I say, when we upload your videos, there are, how many does there average? 70 videos for each one of the modules. Because I'm telling you that every one of them is labeled. I don't know how they like what the language they use, but it's like it is.
Lecture, then it's the treatment pages that she goes over in the lecture.
It's
and then each individual treatment is videoed individually. So that if you say, oh yeah, I need to figure out how to do that wrist snap again, you can just pull up wrist snap and you see the 2-minute video that
right.
shows exactly how to do
Right.
wrist snap.
So there are 70 videos, many of which are 2 minutes, some are 4 minutes, and then my lectures. So it's like that. It is so accessible, it's not even funny. Me, nada. Went to school, came home, nobody here, nobody nothing. I couldn't even ask a question. So that you want to talk about how you have to figure out your own deal is that I'm sure that's what made me so self-reliant, body worky, is because I just did it. So the thing is, we want you to be your own kind of critical thinker, and really, but you are given all the tools to do it. You are given the tools to do it. All right. Thank you, everybody, for coming. I hope we hear from you. It'd be lovely to hear from you. I'll see some of you in January, and some of you I won't. That's how it goes. I'll be here, right here, right here. doing the same thing.
I know that as assistants, we work here on Tuesday and Thursday mornings.
Right.
If it takes a couple of days to get back to you, that's what.
That's, oh yes, that's what's happening. Tuesdays and Thursdays from 8 until 12. They're here. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for coming. Yes, I needed that. Needed that, James. Yeah.
For Maria, there's no need for any additional license.
Oh, yeah, I was wondering about that.
What do you mean?
Because I could practice here.
Oh, yeah, you can totally have practice on the chiropractic license. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, so it's just basically just the education and then immediately just.
I mean, if you choose to get licensed, you can get licensed. If you don't choose, you can work on your own one. Doesn't make a difference. Because you can do soft tissue under chiropractic. So you're okay. And this role is could be under soft tissue.